The doc responded, and his response left me with more questions than answers. As a matter of fact, this response wasn't even full of facts or details. Instead, it was just a motivational video for himself. It almost inspired me to procrastinate productively. But all jokes aside, I ended up leaving with more questions than answers because he didn't provide any details or any facts, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and take a portion of this motivational video and break it down just a bit so you can see what I'm talking about.
Neither I nor the Twitch user exchanged any sexual graphic messages or images. Cody Connors and these other anonymous sources are trying to paint a picture that I was exchanging sexually explicit messages and photos with this Twitch user. That never happened.
Okay, it seems valid, right? But the problem here is that I need to see whether this is the case or not. You need to provide proof, Doc, because right now you're under scrutiny, and just taking your word for it, I can't really say, well, he didn't do it. It's obvious. He just said it. No, you have to provide proof. So this is where I start to get a little mixed up when it comes to this response video, because oftentimes it was more or less responses like this. Well, it didn't happen like that. Or, they're trying to take me down. So of course this response video needed to have proof. And so the chat started to pick that up. So they ended up telling him, all right, man, it seems like we could believe you so far, but drop the messages. We want to see the messages.
People want to show the message, release the messages, show the messages. What are we in second grade?
Doc, what in the hell was that response? That response is stupid. When it comes to huge claims like this, where somebody's reputation is on the line, I know it can kind of be difficult, but we need to see the proof, the evidence. That's going to absolve the doc from guilt or blame. Now, I do kind of want to go ahead and speculate as to why the doc perhaps doesn't want to showcase those messages, because there's many reasons. And some people, they like to just speculate that the reason why he doesn't want to show it is because it's obvious that he's guilty. Well, there's other alternatives as well, especially because this is one of those situations where it's, leave it up to interpretation. So let's go ahead and kind of dive into the details as to why the doc perhaps doesn't want to showcase those messages. So the very first reason as to why he can't reveal those messages is because he is abiding by the obligations that were indicated in the stipulation of a settlement.
You see, there was a lawsuit pending, and as part of that arbitration, all parties were not allowed to speak publicly about the case. I respected those rules. My lawsuit against Twitch was eventually resolved, as you all know. But even then, as part of the settlement, all parties were still prohibited from speaking publicly about the case or the settlement.
So this is more or less hearsay. Once again, there is no proof, no evidence. This is just the doc indicating what he thinks he remembers from what the settlement stipulations are. But he does also give another interesting insight about the settlement. Take a listen to this.
However, if one side violated that confidentiality, then the other side could respond.
Now, this is kind of where it gets into a gray area, because the settlement was settled between Twitch and the doc. However, these are former Twitch employees that revealed this information. So does that mean that Twitch was the first one to reveal this information, and so therefore breaching the terms and conditions of this settlement? Or was it the doc who ended up breaching those terms and conditions, since these former Twitch employees no longer work for the company? However, there is one word that the doc did state that really caught my interest, and that was the word respected.
And again, champs, I respected all the confidential obligations.
The word respected, which is past tense of the word respect, which means to regard the rights and conditions. So because he used the word respected, does this mean that he no longer has to oblige by the confidential obligations? And if that's the case, that means he can give a proper, full response with proof and evidence. But then again, I start to ask, well, these terms and conditions, how far do they extend? Do they allow him to perform such an act? Personally, I would have showcased a bit of the text just to let everybody know, like, yeah, I can't really talk about this. But I mean, he didn't do that, and all we really have is just his word. So that's reason number one. Now, there's reason number two. People online are very black and white. There really isn't much critical thinking when it comes to situations such as this, and this is something that he wants to avoid. At least that's what he indicated based off of everything he was saying.
And you, knowing how black and white the internet is, you decided, you fucking rat, to leak the reported reason Twitch banned me in 2020.
So it seems to me like he's self-aware enough to know that the internet is black and white and not a lot of critical thinking goes behind, certain situations, which is something that I guess he's been attempting to avoid since he just mentioned here. And there's other reasons as well, as he mentions throughout this monologue.
I even used the word inappropriate purposely. And look at how it's defined by everyone, champs. Huh? How would each of you look if all of your private DMs, your text messages, your chats were looked at, dissected, and taken out of context by someone who's deliberately trying to find something inappropriate in those words?
And he does kind of make a point here, because you guys already know that if someone puts anything out into the internet, immediately the internet is going to start doing its digging. And we can kind of see an example of this through Moist Critical. Do you guys remember IShowSpeed's incident where his wardrobe malfunctioned? In other words, his penis flopped out? Well, Moist Critical, he commented on that situation. However, in that video, he showcased a video of Aiden Ross saying something extremely suspicious.
Bro, guys, stop talking about his penis. I don't give a fuck. I've seen it thousands of times. I've known Speed for years. I've seen it in person thousands of times. I don't care. I saw it and I laughed. I smiled. I don't care, bro.
And this was the video that Moist Critical brought to show and tell, and then this was his conclusion.
IShowSpeed just turned 18. He just turned 18 this year, and Aiden is saying that he's seen his penis in person thousands of times? What the f***, man? I don't know if he's just trying to make some kind of weird pedophile joke about himself, or if he's just being totally honest going mask off about seeing a kid's penis thousands of times over the years that he's known him. It's just disturbing. Why would you have seen a child's penis thousands of times? It makes it seem like you were grooming him. Like, the only way Speed could stay your friend was if he kept showing you his wiener or something like that with the way you're speaking about it.
And the thing is that there was people arguing amongst the comment section talking about, well, this is IShowSpeed. He has an edgy sense of humor. And also, that's Aiden Ross's homie. Homies are like that. And then there was other people that were stating that, no, Aiden Ross should definitely be investigated. But this example shows you that people are going to speculate and are definitely going to make conclusions whether they have the full evidence or not. And this perhaps is one of the reasons why the doc doesn't want to release any of the logs, because people are just going to take that and are going to dissect it and are just going to look at the very minuscule details that perhaps have nothing to do with the overall message. The third and fourth reason are pretty simple. The third reason is that he's probably tired and he just wants to move on from this after 4 years of constantly stressing over the situation. I think that anybody would want to move on from this. They don't want to deal with it anymore, which could also be another reason why he doesn't want to sue Cody, because believe it or not, he could sue Cody for sure, because apparently he caused the business to lose tons of revenue and he had to lay off a ton of workers. So he could definitely sue Cody if he really wanted to, but again, he just wants to be done with it. He doesn't want to deal with this anymore. At least that's what I speculate. Now, the fourth reason as to why he doesn't want to reveal the logs is because he's potentially going to incriminate himself. And honestly, all of these alternatives could definitely be one of those reasons why he doesn't want to reveal those logs. I don't know, because the doc doesn't want to reveal anything, which could probably be in his best interest not to reveal anything, because people could just always wonder and speculate, kind of like what I did in this video. You know, of course, there's going to be people who are always going to have outlandish, extreme takes on the entire situation, but personally, I think that these are the more reasonable takes as to why he doesn't want to reveal the logs. But ultimately, it's up to the doc to release him, whether he wants to truly absolve himself or not. People are always going to be left to wonder. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to just go ahead, share my thoughts on that, what I thought about the entire situation. And yeah, I'm satisfied with these speculative theories. So yeah, I am going to go ahead and leave it there. That's all I have for you guys. And yeah, hopefully you guys learned something today.